Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to this Dark Angel lore video. Yeah, lore. Isn't that cool? Haven't done lore in a while. Today we are taking a look at the brand new Successor chapters. Like, these are chapters that have never existed in the lore before. I should know, I've checked quite a few of them. After the fourth one, I actually will admit that I did not check the rest of them, but I can guarantee that no chapters like this have actually had extended lore. This side, yes, these are all known Space Marine successors of Dark Angels, but these ones are all new. So I'm really curious to get into this. So we have quite a few, and if I'm smart in editing, you'll actually see them appear like right over here-ish, I hope, unless I forget. So the first 6 chapters that we have are all the traditional Space Marine successors of the Dark Angels. We have the Angels of Redemption, the Angels of Absolution, which is one of my favorites just because of that name. It sounds very grim, dark, and very 40k, doesn't it? Like, Angels of Absolution, like we know we're correct because it's the absolute truth. It's definitely that. Then we have the Angels of Vengeance, the Blades of Vengeance, the Vengeance of Vengeance, the Disciples of Caliban, and again, I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. It's either Caliban or Caliban. I'm not sure which they're going with this, but I'm gonna say Caliban. Okay, so the first one of the new ones that we have, oh, by the way, none of their lore really changed except for they got Primaris Marines. Ooh, Primaris. Read the War of Secrets book. It actually goes into detail about all of the Primaris upgrades to the Dark Angels and how they actually didn't want the Dark Angels to get successors that were Primaris because they didn't trust them at first. But with Lazarus turning to a Primaris, they began trusting him more and more. So that whole thing happened, and it was actually, it's a really good read. A little bit bland and a little bit boring at first, but I highly recommend the book. It's pretty good, and it's only like a $15 book, so it's pretty cheap. And you can get an audiobook version of it, I believe. So the first one that we have is the Angels of Defiance. Now what's cool is all of these new and unique shoulder pads, and I really dig these. Like, I think this color scheme is actually really cool. It's the quartered color scheme, so one side is white, or bone white, the other side is black with the reverse color scheme. I think that's really cool. And then it checker patterns on the other side of them. And their heraldry is a mace, which I think is really cool. The Dark Angels heraldry actually doesn't match too much. Like with the Disciples of Caliban being like having a Scottish pauldron with the lion depicted on it, which is a heraldry that's very common in Scotland. So I think that's very cool. But the Angels of Defiance. He who will endure conquers, so spoke Lionel Johnson at the height of the Great Crusade. The Primarch's legendary tenacity and Legion's ability to bear great suffering to achieve victory is embodied in this new Primaris chapter. The Angels of Defiance, founded in the Imperium's darkest hour, they have become a beacon of hope, earning many commendaments during the Indominus Crusade. So again, the 250-year Indominus Crusade that is both over and happening currently in the lore, which is very confusing because if you read the rulebook, the Indominus Crusade ended. But if you don't read the rulebook, the Indominus Crusade is still going according to Black Library. So it's a very confusing time, and some people are still alive at the end of the Indominus Crusade, including humans, by the way, like Commissar Yarick. I mean, granted, you could just say, you know, endless amounts of, you know, rejuve treatments or something along the lines of like Tau freezing themselves. But then there's just humans, and it's weird. But anyway, Angels of Defiance sound pretty cool. They honestly sound more like Imperial Fist successors than they sound of Dark Angels. But that's kind of vice versa with the Black Templar sounding more and more like Dark Angel successors than they do Sons of Dorn. So we could switch out. I would take the Black Templar. They're knights. We're knights. We like cool stuff. Raiding and pillaging and in the name of our king and God, and, you know, taking things that don't belong to us and setting the world back by 1,000 years. Yeah, that sounds like something Dark Angels would do. I'm sorry. So the next one we have is the Guardians of the Covenant. Really? So their heraldry is two swords crossed each other, which is a sign of dueling, I believe. It is not known from what founding the warrior monks of... Ooh, they actually call them warrior monks. This is actually the first time canonically that they are referred to as warrior monks. That's really cool. I like that. Of the Guardians of the Covenant came, only that they are unforgiven. Well, they're jerks apparently. I don't forgive them. See? Unforgiven. I'm half tempted to sing Unforgiven from Metallica. Insert that song here. Their adopted homeworld of Mortica, I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce that, 7, lies near the western rim of the Imperium. They are known for their monastic characters. Their banners, armors, and flanks of their vehicles are covered in spindly, handwritten text, enriched, extracted from the pages of tomes held sacred by Space Marines. Essentially, they write the Codex Astartes all over their vehicles and wrap their tanks in them. It's like a Christmas present for the enemies. Essentially, they are quite literally warrior monks. That's how they portray them, but it looks more like they are religious zealots than actual monks, with the second tome there, or second description there, which is kind of cool actually. I really like that. Really like that. Though the silver armor isn't really doing the whole monkey thing for them. Get it? Get it? Get it? You would think that they would be in their cloaks and everything, so that's how I would personally field these. Like they would be in the full cloaks of the Dark Angels, you know, tabard and everything. And then they probably have white cloaks, I'd go with, or brown, to show that they're still in prayer. And then the silver armor, gray armor underneath, with the red and black trim. So next up we have the Bringers of Judgment. The Bringers of Judgment are possessed of a fanatical zeal that gives the other Unforgiven chapters pause. When they encounter rebellion, they deem the entire world guilty. In their views, weakness in every, and even one citizen indicates weakness in the entire population, and the punishment for weakness is death. Many atrocities have they committed, have drawn the ire of the Inquisition, though this has not dissuaded them. Their foot's on fire. They have like a little flame detail on their foot. I think that's adorable. Oh well. So they have the they have a scale on their shoulder pauldron. Now this kind of reminds me of, like, it's the scale of judgment, obviously, but it kind of reminds me of the scale from Egyptology where it measures your soul versus a feather, and I think that's really, really, really cool. Though the gold and the white isn't really doing it for me, I think they look a little bit too Christmassy for my taste. I can get behind an army that is fanatical zealots. If only there was one like that in 40k, but you know, it'd be like more appealing to people like me, so it'd probably have like strong female characters, and like their devotion and their fanaticism would actually like protect them against like horrors and destruction, and they would even be able to like pray damage away or something like that, you know, something to really sell home that they are zealots. I can never think of something like that. Maybe if they had a gothic aesthetic too, like if they were in corsets or something and they just looked badass. I don't know. And the white and gold isn't really doing it for me. If they were in like black and red, that'd be really cool. You see what I did there? I love my Sisters of Battle. But this army is kind of interesting, though I do think that after all said and done, like after the Indominus Crusade, they might get purged by the Inquisition or get reported to Rabuti Gilliman. Okay, so next up we have the Cowled Wardens. The Cowled Wardens are a purple and black, with a gold trim, and I actually really like this color scheme. It looks very, very knightly in my opinion. It actually looks more like royalty, and I really like that. So the Cowled Wardens' base of operation lies within the Sakarid Belt, a part of the region known as the Tiers of Pyres, I'm going to say. Rather than a single fortress monastery, the chapter operates out of several hollowed out asteroids. That is pretty baller. I'm just going to give it that. That is That is amazing, to be honest. Normally tasked with purging the savage Jahangir that terrorize this region, the chapter's secret purpose is the investigation of what the Unforgiven believe to be a large fallen network in the area. Could you imagine if they turned out to be wrong? Like, this whole time they were just wrong, and it's just the Fallen, like, tricking them? That'd be terrific. Like, I would actually like that. So the Cowled Warriors, they have a skull and a hood, and it looks okay. Yeah, it looks a bit silly in my opinion. I like it though. I like it. So next up we have the chocolate mint flavored Space Marines known as the Knights of Abhorrence. In the first 8 centuries after their founding, the Knights of Abhorrence fought solely in the Ghoul Stars, which, by the way, if you don't know where the Ghoul Stars are, it's the entire sector that takes place in the RPG books. It's really cool. Like, it's one of the sectors in the RPG books. And it also has several books in that sector, so there's a lot of lore there. So that's actually really cool. So we get more Space Marines there now, which is, I really like. Blending their swords with the viscera of some of the most dangerous Xenos the Imperium has ever encountered. So Tau. In the years since, they have patrolled the outer reaches of the Imperium, slaughtering alien horrors whilst acquiring information on the Fallen. All the way out there? Okay. It was they who first alerted Azrael to the events of the Sumnus Stars. That is 2 references to the RPG books, and I love both of them. So somebody has been playing like Rogue Trader or has been playing Dark Heresy and decided to just slip this in and probably got it past them without them realizing that they just made the Dark Heresy books, again, another reference to it, canon. So that's actually really cool to me. I really like it. So next up we have the... God, these 2 just look atrocious. Oh, and the helm that the other one, the shoulder pauldron, God I can speak, of the mint flavored Space Marines is a knight helm that looks kind of like the Spartan helmet from 300 with a candle on top of it. Bit silly, and they have like this mint green coating, and it's just a highlight color. Like it's kind of bad. No, this isn't one for me. Cool story though. Like, I really, really like them. Like, this would be really cool to bring into like Deathwatch or something and just be like, oh yeah, I'm from the Ghoul Stars. So the Penitent Blades hail from a world with the landmass made up of thousands of small landmasses suspended kilometers in the air above the acidic oceans. How this pandemonium occurred is a mystery. This is another reference to Dark Heresy, and I love this. Like, literally, a planet like this is described in the RPG books, and I absolutely love it. How this phenomenon has occurred is a mystery, but it has ensured the Penitent Blades are aerial combat experts. Ooh, that's actually really cool. Though I wish their color scheme didn't look like crap. Their second company has 4 oversized squads providing gunship pilots rather than the 2 in most other Unforgiven chapters. So they actually have an air wing. That's actually really cool. So their color scheme is checkered between yellow, then blue, but it's like baby blue, then yellow, then baby blue. And they have 3 swords as their pauldron, and yeah, it's an inverse color scheme, so yellow and blue on this side, blue and yellow on the other side. To be honest, I love their story. I love their lore. I think that's fantastic. It's another reference to a Dark Heresy world. In fact, it's actually a reference to, I think I have the book. It's a reference to, yeah, it's a reference to this book, Stars of Inequity, where you can actually make this world. This is the thing. This is the book that it's referencing. That's really cool. Let's go ahead and put that there. By the way, I just keep RPG books on hand. Can you tell I play it a lot? Like right now, I can just reach back here and just grab Dark Heresy core rulebook. This is one of my favorites. And I also have Black Crusade back here as well. Alright, so next up we have the Prime Absolvers. This sounds like something out of Transformers. Of the Prime Absolver, an Ultima founding chapter. Did an Ultramarine just slip into the Dark Angels? First learned of the Fallen from Azrael himself. A headstrong warrior, he saw no reason for his chapter brethren to feel the same responsibility bore by many of the Unforgiven. So it's the smart Ultramarine / Dark Angel. Okay, I like it. To harm the Fallen are no different to other traitors. Agreed. And I'm surprised none of these guys have ever actually talked to like the Inquisition, just been like, oh yeah, this is the Fallen. We know exactly where they are. We know what they are. They're just fallen Dark Angels. Though he established an inner circle and specialized companies, he sees his chapter's mission as hunting all of the Emperor's foes equally. It's good to have some equality in 40k, and it's at the hands of a Dark Angel strangling a traitor. You know, equality is important. That's where I'm going to leave that. He's quite literally an Ultramarine, like, except it's blue and his color scheme is weird. So it's up on the screen right now, hopefully, but it's like Ultramarine blue, and I actually do mean Ultramarine blue, so not like an Ultramarine where they're not Ultramarine blue, which is very confusing. They're more of cobalt blue than anything, but I digress. But it's like Ultramarine blue with this deep red helmet, sigil, and shoulder pads. But the shoulder pads are also trimmed silver, which is very, very, very strange. And his sigil on his shoulder is a star, a circled star with 10 points, which is the mark of the Emperor. And then it's got the crosses in the middle of it, kind of like a wheel, which I think is kind of neat. And by the way, the Emperor's number is 10, if you didn't know. That's why the Imperium has 10 pointed stars. They're not chaos stars. Iron Halos have 10 points technically because of how they go up and over, and it's the mark that the Emperor's protecting you. Yeah. So, pretty interesting overall. I'm really confused how he's an Ultima founding chapter. Does that mean he's from Ultima? Because technically the Ultramarines are named after the Ultima Segmentum, which is in the Ultima Segmentum, go figure. Which doesn't, it includes the 500 worlds as well as their main world, which is Ultramar. So, was this Dark Angel chapter just founded there? I guess it would be the quickest way from the start of the Crusade back to Terra and then back out, would be to make the Prime Absolvers and then send them to Azrael? I'm trying to figure out the events of this. I might just be overthinking this, and if I am, please comment in the comment section down below and tell me that I'm wrong. But provide sources, because if you tell me I'm wrong and don't provide a source, I don't believe you, because I have my sources. They're right there. I really should put my other 2 bookshelves over there so you can actually see them in my videos and see that this is not my only bookshelf. I have 2 more. All right. So the last one is the Unnamed, which I personally think is probably the coolest looking chapter. They're quite literally Imperial fists. Like they're yellow with a dark yellow / almost brown trim. When the senior elements of the Unnamed learned from Azrael of the Dark Angel's secret, they felt the weight of their genetic ancestors' guilt heavily on their shoulders. I don't get why, but okay. They refused to take a name of their chapter, deeming themselves unworthy and refusing to take a homeworld, determined that they would never cease to apply the stars until the blight of the fallen were eradicated from the galaxy forever. So they're on a crusade. That's actually really cool. So this chapter, the Unnamed, can probably be a really cool crusade force, And if you wanted to make lore for them, you could actually have them branch off into other crusades, similar to that of the Black Templar, where the Black Templar can keep recruiting as their fleets go through space until they get to 1,000, and then they have to split into 2 separate crusades. And then those crusades can grow up to 1,000 and then split up again. But then the chapter master of the Unnamed, in this case, would know the true number of the guys under him. And then he would be able to recall all of the current masters of each of those chapters, or the current captains of each of those chapters, and be able to coordinate them and assimilate them if they go under like 1,000 members. So that's actually a really, really badass chapter. Their color scheme is yellow, but they have this black faced plate, and I really like it. No, don't take that out of context. I know that that is something that you could take out of context and make me look terrible. But they have this, they have this really nice helm design where the face is just charcoal and the eyes are like this bright dark yellow, but it just sits there perfectly. In fact, they just look like better Imperial Fists. To be honest, they just look like Imperial Fist successors. I'm not even kidding. And I think that is it for these. Yes, so we got 8 new chapters of Space Marines. This is very similar to what they gave us for the Dark Angels, though I do think the Angels of Defiance and the Angels of the Coven are actually pre-existing chapters that just didn't have lore. So now we have lore on them. So if I am wrong that they have lore, please comment in the comment section down below. Tell me what book they are from so that I can pick it up and read it, because my Dark Angel knowledge is pretty good, but I'm not going to say it's the best, because I'm still reading books that are very old, like Deathwing, which was really bad. But it's kind of cool because they fight a Chaos Dreadnought that unveils itself to be a Fallen, and I thought that was really, really, really cool. Still surprised none of the Fallen have just talked to the Inquisition and just been like, oh yeah, we're the Fallen. We're traitor Dark Angels. Ha 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 ha. And leave. Although that was the plot of the Will of Iron series, which is really good, by the way. The art in it is amazing. I absolutely love it. But overall, I'm not disappointed. And I think some of these are really cool. Actually, I think just the Guardians of the Coven are really cool. The stories are really good. Like, the Cowled Wardens, I think, are probably the coolest, in my opinion. But the Knights of Abhorrence are probably have the best story for me, because I'm a huge RPG fan. So the fact that they have like references to a whole bunch of other things that are RPG settings, I love, and I think that's fantastic. The Prime Absolvers confuse the hell out of me. The Unnamed is really cool. I don't know why they took a chapter sigil if they call themselves the Unnamed. Now, do they call themselves the Unnamed, or did somebody else just say that they are unnamed? That's going to be a very confusing phone call from Azrael if he needs to do the Legion protocols. I don't know, but out of these 8, which ones did you like the most? Personally, my top 3 would be the Cowled Warriors, the Knights of Appearance as my number 1, the Cowled Warriors was my number 2, and the Guardians of the Coven is my number 3, because they look so cool. But I want to know your list and what your thoughts are on this. Please comment in the comment section down below. Also, while you're down there, please check out all the links in the description down below. There you can follow me on all sorts of social media, including Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And I might even make a TikTok. I'm not sure. This channel, it only exists because of my patrons. My patrons go a long way to help supporting the channel. And I have patron exclusive videos now. They're pretty funny, actually. They're pretty fun to make too, because it's not sticking to the rigors of YouTube, and I can just have fun. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, please subscribe. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.